This is tutorial number 5 for chapter 2 of the Digital Soil Mineralogy with R course. And in this tutorial, we'll be looking at quantifying multiple samples. And this is done using the FPS and AFPS functions from PowerDAR. So we're going to build on what we've been doing in the previous tutorials, which you can follow the videos, or you can look at the course documentation. But it's all we're going to be using is the RockJock reference library and the RockJock mixtures data. Now, we had a look at the RockJock mixtures data earlier, but just to recap, it is a multi-XY object. It has 8 different XY objects within it, and each of those is just a synthetic mixture with various proportions of about 7 or 8 phases. We can have a quick look at that actually by plotting it. RockJock mixtures, define the wavelength. Don't even need to write the full argument name. And int equals true, and let's normalize as well. So that's going to plot this multi-XY object and the 8 patterns within it. Might take a moment to achieve that. So here we can see the 8 mixtures and their different diffraction patterns. They've all got 20 weight percent corundum within them. So to speed things up, we're just going to carry out quantification on the first 3 samples in this mixture, in this data, the first 3 mixtures. But to say, by adapting the code, you can apply it to any number of samples for quantification. So when we're doing this in this first example, we're going to use lapply to apply the FPS function over a list of different samples. So in this case, I'm just selecting the first 3 mixtures from the RockJock mixtures data. So the first thing to define are the samples you're going to quantify. Second thing is the function you're going to use. So this could either be FPS or AFPS. And then we move on to the various arguments that FPS and AFPS can accept. So we're going to define the library, which is RockJock, the standard, which is corundum for each of them, which is going to be used for just alignment in this case. And then we're going to define the reference patterns that we're going to use. And in each case in this example, we're just using phase IDs of the 7 different phases that exist within these mixtures. And then we're lastly going to set align to 0.3. So this is a really simple example. There are various other parameters you could adjust in FPS, and then even more that you can adjust in AFPS. So when we run that, it will talk you through what stage it's at for each sample. And because this is a simple example using just 7 reference patterns, it should complete pretty quickly in a number of seconds for each sample. And then once that's computed, we can look at the output, which will simply be a list of PowerDAR FPS objects that we were plotting and visualizing in the previous tutorial. So if we lapply the class function to our multi-fit object that we've just created, other way around, sorry, object first, function afterwards, we can see that each of these is a PowerDAR FPS object, and they are wrapped up within a list. So if you quantified 1,000 samples, it would simply be a list with 1,000 PowerDAR FPS objects. And quite usefully, each of the names in this list is inherited from the names within the list that you supply here. So it's actually inherited mix 1, mix 2, mix 3. So you can check that they're identical using this line. So that's a pretty simple way of using Lapply to quantify any number of samples. The only problem with it is that it will only work on one core of your computer. So when you're computing numerous, or maybe hundreds or thousands of samples, it's not the quickest way to achieve the computation. If you're interested in doing things a little bit faster and using the number of cores that you have on your machine, then you can actually try a slightly different approach, which requires a little bit more code and requires a couple of packages. So this example is going to try and use more cores than one. The number of cores you can use will depend on the number on your machine. So you'll need the for each and do parallel packages if you want to do parallel computation. I've already installed those, so I can go ahead and load those packages. So now what we're going to do is actually just detect the number of cores, and on my computer I've only got 4, but it's better than 1. So we'll just define use cores using that detect cores function. Now what we're going to do is create a cluster, and that's going to be done using all my cores minus 1. So we're going to use 3 cores because otherwise I'll be left with no cores to actually do anything else. So that would always be recommended. So we're making a cluster. Then the next part of the puzzle is to register that we're going to be doing parallel computing. So we'll run that line of code. And then the actual loop that we're going to wrap the function in is a little bit less elegant than using Lapply, but you do get to faster results at the end of the day. So we're creating multi-fit again, and we're going to do it using a for each loop with parallel computing, and then it's within this area here where the parallel computing of full pattern summation is used. So we have to actually use this notation to access the function from powdar, even if you've already loaded the powdar package using the library function. And then we specify the library, and the sample has to be from your list. So in this case, our list is rock chalk mixtures, and we're going to quantify the ith sample in 1 to 3. So it'll go 1 through to 3 in this case, but you could have any number of samples there, and all the other arguments are the same. So if we run this, what it will do now is actually use 3 cores to quantify those 3 samples. So it should result in an approximate computation time that's 3 times faster than what we experienced using Lapply. Now, and the amount of time you'll save will depend on the number of cores on your machine. But in this case, because we're only quantifying 3 samples, it wouldn't make any difference if I had 100 cores on my machine, because it doesn't have the number of samples to spread the load onto. So now that's finished running, all we have to do in this case is actually make sure that the names of the items in the list we're creating match the names of the samples, because that's not automatically achieved, and then we'll just stop the cluster using this function. So in doing this parallel approach, we end up with exactly the same results as we would using Lapply. It's just that you do have the additional option of making the computation a lot faster. Now, in cases where you have quantified a lot of samples, you'll end up with a lot of powdar FPS or AFPS objects, and it can be useful to extract the phase concentrations from them into a big table. And this is what the summarize mineralogy function is for from Powdar. Again, you can access the help using the package documentation. But here what we're going to do is just use this function on multifit. So that's our results of 3 quantified samples. We're going to group the data and we're going to order them as well. And we'll have a play to show what difference it makes. So here with grouped and ordering the data, we've got kaolinite, corundum, plagioclase, smectite, illite, K feldspar, and quartz. Whereas if we change this to all, it would actually specify each of the phases according to their phase IDs. So in cases where you've got multiple reference patterns for kaolinite, they would each be shown in this type of all, whereas when type is grouped, they would all be grouped and summed together accordingly. So you get a simpler result in the groups table, which can often be useful. Ordering, let's just change this back to grouped and then set order to false. What this will then result in is the phases actually just being ordered out alphabetically. When order is true, the ordering represents the column-wise sum of the quantified phases. So in this case, kaolinite comes first because the sum of this column is the greatest of all columns, and then it slowly gets smaller and smaller until the final column where it's the smallest. So that can be quite useful because often when you order things like this, the most important minerals or the most common minerals in your data set come within the first columns. So in addition to those 2 arguments, you can actually specify additional objective parameters that you can append to the table. So you can add the RWP, the R, and the delta values, which are objective functions that are minimized in full pattern summation. And you can append those to the table. And they summarize the quality of the fit, whereby the lower the value, in theory, the better the fit will be for a given sample. So those can be useful to include as well. So that's just a useful function to help summarize the quantitative data when you have lots of outputs from full pattern summation or automated full pattern summation. It'll work on either. So that just about summarizes this chapter on quantitative phase analysis in Powdar.